After my last video, which won the coveted prize of the most boring video uploaded to YouTube this week, if you haven't watched it, you should. We're picking up the pace a little today with a hostile tender offer in Korea. There is also a friendly takeover thrown into the mix just to add a little more confusion to an already confused deal. Essentially, there are two takeovers occurring at the same time. The Asian private equity firm MBK Partners has teamed up with Poong to make a tender offer for up to 14.61% of the shares in Korea Zinc, an offer which Korea Zinc has declared to be an attempt at a hostile takeover which should be rejected. And at the same time, MBK Partners has also initiated a friendly tender offer to purchase a 43.43% interest in Poong Precision Corp. Wow, what a palaver. I hope you enjoy the analysis and the financial calculations provided in this video, and if you do, I would be awfully grateful if you would tender a like in return. If you would like a brief catch-up on tender offers, I will link to previous video of the Gulf Investment Fund in the description below, which should get you up to speed. So, the long story cut short here is, Korea Zinc is the world's largest smelter of zinc and lead, currently managed by the third generation of the founding family. However, Poong, the Korean conglomerate with interests in mining, electronics, and book selling, is the controlling shareholder of Korea Zinc, with an interest in excess of 25% as at June this year. Poong Group was founded by Chang Byung-hee and Choi Ki-ho in 1949. The group's two major affiliates have largely been run by their descendants. The Chang family controls Poong and the electronic units, while the Choi family manages Korea Zinc and the non-electronics units. Korea Zinc is the cash cow of the conglomerate, and the Chang family, who run Poong, believe the Choi family, in charge of Korea Zinc, are trying to dominate the boardroom by swapping treasury stocks with Hanwha Corporation and LG Chemicals, and by the issuance of new shares to Hyundai Motors. In retaliation for these perceived machinations, Poong has teamed up with MBK Partners to issue a tender offer for the shares in Korea Zinc it doesn't own, plus has engaged lawyers in an attempt to prevent Korea Zinc from initiating countermeasures. At the same time, Poong has also come to an agreement with MBK Partners that the private equity fund can launch a tender offer to purchase up to 43.43% of Poong Precision, which owns 1.85% of Korea Zinc. This could result in MBK Partners being the controlling shareholder in Korea Zinc. It's all rather messy and a little more succession than dull Korean business. Anyway, let's get to the numbers to see what an investor could make from these transactions. We're stacked with a hostile tender offer for Korea Zinc. MBK Partners is offering 660,000 Korean won per share of Korea Zinc. The company shares were trading at 556,000 before the tender offer was made public. The tender offer will be active from Friday the 13th of September until Friday the 4th of October. However, investors should be aware that the tender offer is to buy up to a maximum of 3.02 million shares of Korea Zinc, an amount that will allow the partners to take control of operations. An investor buying shares at the market price today can expect a return of 18.71%, or an annualized return of 273.09%. However, because there are more shares available than will be accepted in the tender offer, the risk-adjusted return reduces to 170.68%. And should an investor attempt to tender shares and not be successful, and the share price fall back to the level before the offer was announced, such an investor can expect a loss of 4.68% on such shares. These numbers are fairly respectable and, in part, are due to the circuit breakers that exist on the Korean Stock Exchange. If any Korean company moves higher or lower than 30% of the prior day's closing price, the shares are suspended from trade for the rest of the day. It may therefore be expected that the share price will continue to rise over the coming days and reduce the expected return. Next, we can look at the friendly tender offer for MBK Partners to buy shares in Poong Precision. As with the offer for Korea Zinc, there is an upper limit to the number of shares that may be tendered, here accounting for 43.43% of the total shares outstanding. The offer price is 20,000 Korean won, against the spot price of 12,180. This figure can be expected to increase rapidly, but, as with Korea Zinc, the company shares hit the maximum permissible 30% daily gain and were suspended. An investor acting today and buying Poong Precision for 12,180 Korean won can expect to a return of 64.2%, or an annualized 937.37%. And even though only 43.43% of the shares may be tendered due to the low current price, the risk-adjusted return is a respectable 547.92%. Should an investor fail to tender their shares and have to sell them at the pre-tender price, they can expect a loss of 24.71%. Of all the mergers and acquisitions we have looked at on this channel, this is one of the oddest. Like an episode of Succession, we have warring families, power plays, and significant sums of money on the line. Plus, for foreign investors, there is the added risk of foreign exchange volatility. This is a situation that could offer fantastic returns, but the risk profile needs serious consideration. What do you guys think of this takeover? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and follow if you found this video useful. Be aware that all the figures mentioned are at the date of my calculations and will change in line with the share price of the company, any change to the takeover price, and the duration to close. As always, this information is provided for educational purposes only. You should not consider anything in this video to be investment or financial advice, nor a recommendation or endorsement to buy or sell any financial instrument. You should always conduct your own research before considering any investment and seek independent financial advice. Thank you, and until next time, enjoy life.